Hey, this is Oba Babatunde from SWAT. What's taking you so long to get to us?
Hey guys, it's Lauren Yates from Rave It Up here, and today we're going to be having a chat over Zoom with sexual empowerment coach and the founder of You Go Girlfriend and You Go Bro, Katelin Vincent. She is the teacher we all wish we had in school. She talks about intimate topics and the topics we call taboo, like sex and periods and self-confidence. No matter what gender you are going to learn so much from this interview with Katelin today for your own self-confidence and your own self-esteem. So let's get into it now. Katelin, welcome to Rave It Up. It is a pleasure to finally have you on our show. How are you going today?
Oh, I'm so stoked to be here. Honestly, it's like the festive vibes and we're just all into it. So yeah, I'm very excited for this conversation.
Like just an interview just before Christmas, probably my last one for the year. So woohoo!
Celebration!
I thought to go festive today. I've got to say, I really feel like, I don't know if you're a big believer in that everything happens for a reason, because I just feel like we were meant to meet somehow, you know what I mean? Like, for our audience, she got in contact with me because of my dance school. And then I was like, who is this woman? You know, like you start doing a bit of a social media stalk. You're like, who is this woman? Oh, wow, okay. Perfect guest for this show. So thank you so much for giving me the time today.
No, my pleasure. And I think I 100% agree when it comes to the people that we meet, the things that happen to us are all happening for a reason. And I think it's so important that we tap into that and just go, yep. And sometimes annoyingly, even if it's bad, I know that that's not a great thing to think about, but even if it is bad, we also need to go, this is happening for a reason because I got to learn, I got to grow from this as well.
Yeah, or it might be leading you onto something else. You think you're supposed to go over here, but you're actually supposed to go over here. I love looking back at that stuff. It's awesome. Now, something I love about you, and you know, if our audience haven't heard about Katelin yet, please go check her out. I'm going to put all the links below. You are really the teacher we wish we had in school, right? I absolutely love that you put that in your bio, because she loves to talk about topics that are not talked about enough, that we think of as taboo, you know, like sex and periods and self-confidence. Before we go into depth about all this, because I got some cool questions, I want to go back a little bit. How did you start all of this? You know, what was your wake up call to go like, I want to do more, I want to help others and even be my own boss, you know? Girl power.
Exactly. No, I love that analogy about the teacher that we really needed, because so many times that I've been like, oh my God, I really wish we got, even though I'm teaching other people, I'm like, damn, I think I'm self-soothing myself at the moment going, yep, I'm fixing that little patch in the past. But I used to be a teacher myself, and I felt like I was hitting a ceiling when it came to the education part. And at the time I was teaching high school, I was doing primary before then high school, and I was doing a subject called life design, where we're actually helping kids with their passion and purpose in life. And as I'm helping them, you know, mask and understand, I had this big awakening, as we've all had through COVID and life, that something just wasn't right. And I did some courses and deep dives into this, and I thought, wow, we just aren't touching the basis of really connecting in a way that we should be connecting to ourselves, the way that we communicate with our bodies, and the way that we're interacting with people. So I just had this like, okay, I kind of like a little Shark Tank moment. I like went up to Dad and I was like, I think I've got an idea. Like it just came to me in the middle of the night, this whole concept. And I said, I think I've got a bit of an idea. And he's like, all right, let's talk about it. And I thought, okay, cool. And then it just sort of sparked, and I started putting videos out, and people were really like, wow, like, where's this all coming from? And I was like, well, I just want to see where it goes. And then the receptivity of people being like, actually, this is so important. And I thought, okay, I've really just got to push this. And so I was teaching and then doing this at the same time. But unfortunately, the school that I was working at didn't see eye to eye with what I was doing, and pretty much just didn't, you know, as you said, taboo topics, didn't like what I was doing, but I actually was doing something that was really important, and they could have actually jumped me on board and really enhanced the conversations in schools. But what they did is they pushed me away. So it was the universe massively pushing me out, going, Katelin, you've got a big vision. Yeah, go out and freaking go make the most of the world, because I thought, wow. At the time, it was devastating because I was like, as a kid, I was always wanting to be a teacher, and I thought, what the heck is going on here? Like, I'm losing my childhood dream of being a teacher, but
You're a
this was
teacher in other
all
ways.
exactly. I'm an educator, and I find it's educating in a way that's my energy, my way of living, my who I am is so much more better because I'm infatuating in this passion and purpose piece. And don't be wrong, there's been challenges 100% by transitioning, but it's made me so much more stronger and resilient to take on more things. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so blessed that I got that big push going when I had that big alignment. And I think that even I've had to really condition myself with the types of conversations because I know at the beginning I had imposter syndrome and I was like, but I need to talk about this and how do I talk about this and how's it going to land for people? And I'm like, I'm not like doing things that are, light on social media. How
Yeah.
am I meant to make this sort of, easy for people to kind of understand where I'm coming from in a respectful way? I'm trying to put sex and professionalism together, and has not been done well. So
Yes.
I'm breaking that bridge and trying to put things together and, just raise awareness around it.
Yeah, I love that. And when you think about it, even though that school was like, nah, don't want to embrace it, now you've got workshops in schools and things like that. So it's all come around full circle, hasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, no, I did initially start focusing on teenagers and, working with parents more so. And
Mm.
then what I realized is that I had a lot of adults that were like, Caitlin, we actually need your help. And if anything, I actually had a lot of men reach out to me. They're like, Caitlin, I need your support in this, as whether it's mental health or confidence or even sex as well. So I was getting a range of people and I was like, I'm only one person here. How am I meant to like do this? Or so I then shifted my focus to focusing on adults and doing workshops for them. And
Mm.
don't get me wrong, I'm still getting a high demand for parents, and there will be something that comes together. But for now, I just got to focus on what I can because I was juggling too many plates and I was losing my energy myself.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Don't
I
blame
can't do it
yourself.
all.
I know how that feels too.
Yes, yes. It's a juggling act, but I know that the way that I'm on this approach right now is like, yep, this is the direction where it's going.
Yeah, and I really like take my hat off to you, bow to you, girl, because it is way more information that we need to know out there. It's more like even with schools, it's more than just chucking a condom on a banana. You know what I mean? Like you need to be able to, as you said, have that great relationship with your own body before you're connecting with someone else as well. And it doesn't even have to be on a sexual way, as you said. It's just connection with people in general. People just aren't all there, right?
Oh, no. And I think as well, what people are missing is even as an adult, they haven't had that chance to actually connect with themselves on a deeper level.
Mm.
And if anything, when you do connect, you actually then enhance all those other things in your life and you get to really explore things that you want to do. You don't just go from like, hey, I want to try this, let's just take it to another level. And then that's where the trauma comes in. That's where, oh my God, the fear of like, I don't want to ever do that again. It's because you haven't actually established that core base of like connecting to yourself. And I know for females, our cycle is a huge part of us. We cannot get rid of it. It's there. So if we can enhance it and work with it rather than against it, we're going to feel so much more connected and enlightened in ourselves with that. And I think for men, they go, well, why do I need to know that? Oh my God, you need to know about this, because if you want to have sex in a certain way with those period cycles and the weeks that happen, you are going to get a mixed concoction, but it's going to be constant and it's going to be connecting in a way that's respectful to the female in accordance to their cycle. And the man gets what he needs because they've got a high sex drive. So it's complementing both of us that we can do in that aspect as well.
Yeah, I love that. You gave me goosebumps just then. That was awesome. I hope people are really just soaking it all this up. I did read in your bio too, which I found really interesting because you did mention you're a teacher, and I also read that you were a teacher in the UK and also volunteered in Vietnam. When was all this? What age were you, and where does that slot into the whole cycle of your career and life?
Yeah, so I was really fortunate. What was it when I was doing year 12? I knew that I was like going to do teaching, and I had someone say to me, they're like, hey, we're going to go to Vietnam. We're going to help kids over there. We're going to teach. Would you like to jump on board? And I was like, hell yeah, give me that exposure. Give me that, real connection when it comes to people, because I love being able to go to any country and being able to really connect with the culture, being able to connect with how people communicate and even just their body language, and seeing them so happy even in a third world country, it just is such a beautiful thing to be able to give the gift. And their hugs are so freaking amazing. Like,
Aw.
us humans need more hugs in a day, and if anything we need a minimum of 4. And I'm thinking, my
Four,
goodness,
not
yeah.
enough.
I'm like, how many?
400.
Yes, exactly. So we need that reminder, and that's what I was so blessed and thankful to be able to have, that gratitude and appreciation for the experience in Vietnam, and then being able to obviously learn how we take speaking English for granted, and teaching them as well. It was something that just reminded about how important communication is, and how we don't communicate effectively, and it's a skill that we all need to have. So that
Mm.
was something that I really wanted to embody. And then obviously when I finished my uni degree, I was like, I don't want to live life just going, right, teaching, full-time job. I want to travel and work at the same time. How can I make this work? So I had the opportunity to go to London and teach for a couple of years, and being able to take your suitcase to work on a Friday and then go, overseas, that was pretty lush. I would say I was pretty fortunate enough to go through that. And then obviously everyone has their stories when it comes to COVID, but I was stuck over there, and then I had to come home and do hotel quarantine, and then I had to do all these things just to sort of encompass, and being torn between, okay, what job there, and I couldn't get employed here, and it was just this big spiral. But I know that these sort of things all happen for a reason. So I'm really blessed for the experience that I had as an educator, and knowing that I was meant to get that gift and skill for a reason, to be able to help people in these situations that I'm helping now, and being able to help in that aspect. So I'm very blessed that I have done the teaching side of things from primary to high school, and being able to travel the world as well.
Oh, that's awesome. And tick it all off your bucket list now. And obviously, we can see that you're such a confident woman, and I love watching some of your like really funny social media videos. You're just boogieing out, and like I love that. Even in your bikini and everything, I'm like loving the body. That's great. Loving your own body. I mean, have you always been this confident though? Because I know, especially as us women, and I'm sure guys have the exact same thing, especially going through puberty and everything. It's so hard to and so many different ways you can do it, is starting actually to love you and your body, and getting out there and being confident, and kind of especially peer pressure and all that, and comparisons, especially in high school. So yeah, your story. Have you always been this confident? I hear a bit of both.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate with, I look at most of my life, and I would say that I would have the confidence in a way that has been skilled. But obviously we've both been so blessed with having a program that we did as teenagers, which was Empower You.
Yeah.
And that really encompassed a starting point of just awareness around, who we are and how we communicate with ourselves and our body language. And, we're still a bit naive when we're a bit younger about life, and we don't really know the finesse. And I feel like for me, I probably learned so much more about being confident when anxiety really heightened for me, and how I was able to hit those moments of going, wow, this is more important than ever, to really tap into backing yourself and supporting yourself and listening to yourself. So I think that for me, it really comes down to that relationship with yourself. And I really made conscious decisions to make sure that I spent that time for myself, and I was able to really, ask questions or learn new things, or spend that time for myself, and being able to understand why it's all happening. And even when those negative things come up, okay, why are they coming up? What have I not worked on myself? What have I not connected with myself on? And come from a place of compassion in those spaces, because we fear so much of those negative things. And then that's what deters our confidence in ourselves, because we're like, oh, I'm too shy, I'm too quiet, I'm, not confident in myself. And we put these labels, and it's like, well, what is actually making you mask that? And it's that belief that's been holding you back during that time. And we need to address those beliefs. We need to, acknowledge them for what they are. And, I'm still someone that goes through times of my body and moments, but then I've acknowledged that as a female, we've got our period cycle. So our bodies and shapes and sizes and bloating and, it all comes out to just, it's natural and it's a part of us. So the acceptance of that comes through the skill of having confidence. The more that we're able to accept what it is about us that we may not like and may love, the more that we're able to then acknowledge that we're unique and special in that own way. And I know that so many women that, really want to master confidence and whatnot. And that's why I give the tools to be able to help them to be able to harness that in such simple ways. They do not need to be overexerted. You do not need to be walking in the streets in a bikini. You don't need to, do the things that people think you have to be an extrovert. No, I've been able to help even introverted people just be so in themselves and be like, it's so fine to be introverted as well. It's so fine to be quiet. It's so fine to be you. There's so many gifts that come from that as well. It's just that internal dialogue that you're saying to yourself that needs to have a little bit of an awakening and compassionate for when you're really down about yourself. So I think for me, it's more about actually just encompassing those skills and being able to embody them as well. But the thing I do love though, and you would probably finesse this being a dance teacher yourself, oh my God, being able to dance more is like the best thing. And especially as a female, shaking your hips is like, embodying that feminine energy. That confidence boost is like no tomorrow. And like in some of my events, I like help women to just sort of move their bodies a bit more. And that gets you out of that stagnant like soldier position where you're stuck and trapped in your head. It's like, no, let's shift this and let's move this around and let's start to feel good. Because it's a small percentage of people that dance and they're like, oh my God, I hate it. Like,
I know.
Very small percentage.
Or that when they first started, they're like, this just feels so unnatural and I don't want to move this way or that way or, stick my bottom out and things like that. And it's like, well, you just gotta get past that, weird, uncomfortable stage first, and then it becomes more comfortable, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And it's even when, anything that we try, no matter what, it is always uncomfortable. It is 100%. And you're going to get that fear hit you in the face straight away. And it's going to be like, you don't deserve to do this. What are you doing? Like, you shouldn't be dancing. You shouldn't go out on solo dates. You shouldn't be doing all these things. And then you think, okay, I'm never going to do that again. And it's like, hell no, keep going because something will shift and change. You might just need a little hand or accountability person just to push past that limiting belief. And then you go through with it. Like, I know that, as I mentioned just quickly about the solo dates, so many people are like, I wouldn't go to a restaurant on my own. I wouldn't do this. I'm like, okay, if you find that to be tricky, go to a space like walking on the beach or going for a walk where it looks normal in society that, you don't have to think about other people during that part. And then eventually, while you're out there, you got to eat at some point. So then you might as well go to a cafe and you might as well sit down and you just broken that barrier of being like, oh, I'm so fearful of being on my own and spending my own time, because you have to have that time for yourself. So whether it is taking those dance classes or whether it's going solo dates, like you've just got to have that time for yourself as well.
Absolutely. And I love it now. So it will eventually become like your favorite thing. Solo dates or go to the movies by yourself. I love that too.
Yes. That is always a vibe. I even did like live concerts as well. I was like, I really want to see them and I don't want to have to hold back my life because other people didn't want to see them as well. And I think it's literally like dating. You never get all your answers at the beginning. You kind of have to figure this out along the way. It's like uncomfortable and you're like, I don't know what to do and I can't read the situation. And it's like, and then eventually you then fall in love with that person because you're like, well, we got to that point, we established it, and I feel good about myself. So just think of it through that lens.
You really are dating yourself.
Yes, exactly.
How old were you when you did Empower You?
So I think it was, I think 13 comes to mind, 12 or 13.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think so. I could have been younger.
I was like 15 when I did it. So there you go. You're ahead of me. And I was actually, believe it or not, the shyest person you would ever meet before that. Very hard to like make friends, was always, and I'm the only child too. So it was like my parents were my best, well, they still are my best friends. And then to just that comfort zone flip chart, just fear outside the comfort zone. If you push through that, you get growth and success. And I was like, God, it just resonated with me so much that the rest of the weekend I was like, oh, stuff this. I'm just gonna be me. Woo, you know. And like, yeah, it just totally transformed me. But also at the same time, still took a little while to, I guess, then feel comfortable in your body, especially as a woman, and the body confidence. Really, I think that takes a little bit more time. Would you agree? Because I'm,
Yeah,
yeah, sure
absolutely.
you
And
have
that's
the same situation.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I really wanted to encompass about this. And I'm really passionate about helping women with that transition because, it's such a demeaned time in our life when it comes to acknowledging our bodies. And if we don't help savor that moment or, establish a better relationship or a growth mindset in that, then we've got this consistent bad belief that keeps carrying on from us. And then that affects us as adults. And then I know even from the menstrual stage, you go into the menopause phase, and that's another transition as well again. So for females, we've got this constant change in our bodies, and if we can't adapt to change just as it is, then we're really going to struggle with that consistency of trying to just adhere to ourselves and stop ourselves in our tracks or listen to what's going on. So I think any time frame that we do, we need to condition ourselves. So I think starting young is obviously so important, but it's also so fine to start at any point and just starting now to go, you know what, I want to change this narrative that is happening. I need to change the belief of what's happening. So that's why I love that I got a whole random bunch of people that were like, oh, you're like a little missing piece in the puzzle at the moment. I need to figure myself out. I'm like, sure, how would we like to serve?
How would you like me to serve you today? I know this is a weird question too. With like your knowledge on periods and sex and everything, did you go out and do like heaps of study, or did you just learn from, I guess, your own body and your own experiences?
Yeah, it definitely was a mixed concoction because I thought, I know that I've had the experience of even transitioning from the pill to being off the pill and knowing that level of connection when it comes to that, and how the marketing side of things is really poorly done on that. And I just had this huge fascination and started asking experts and started talking to people and doing the research and really encompassing about what is it that we need to know as females. And I'm on this ever learning journey when it comes to it. So I'll always keep learning to help, because I know that even when I established about polycystic ovaries, and then also having to understand endometriosis and like all these different entities, that I was trying to get myself to go, wow, there's still so many things that people still don't even know about. There's so many things that, and to be honest, I haven't even listed so much more to talk about, but there's so many things that we're unaware of, and we get hit in the worst way. And we're like, well, why didn't someone tell us about this? Or why don't we get educated about this? And I do like to put a little bit of lightheartedness onto it, because unfortunately we put so much negativity about the topic that we drain ourselves and we think so negative, and that brings our confidence down. And it's like, well, yes, if we have it, like I've got polycystic ovaries, but I'm gonna make it a bit of humor. It's like, well, I've just got to go with the flow. Like I can't get rid of it. It's just a part of me. And these are the conversations that we just need to embody and go like, hey, this is like, if I was to put a dating bio, this is on my bio. Like it's all part of me, and I just need to have that conversation and acceptance. So yeah, it was really important to become aware and understanding. And I know even going through my own anxiety situation from hotel quarantine, I had like, conditioned this thing called dissociative anxiety. So every time I go into certain places that my body doesn't feel safe, my whole body moves, but I'm not actually moving. And it was really like, I would try to explain to people, I'm like, what is happening? And I went down the whole rabbit hole of like doctors and chiros and all that fun games. And I just got to the point of like acceptance and going, okay, this is a part of me now and I need to friend it. But then it made me have a lot more compassion to people going, wow, if this is what's happening to me, we have no idea what is going on in someone else's life. And that's why I really wanted to help foreshadow those conversations, because every time I have said to people, I'm Kinky Katelin, I'm a sexual empowerment coach, they're like, oh my God, I've got a million questions. I'm like, let's go. So that's where I know I'm opening up the door for a lot of people that have been waiting for something. And don't get me wrong, there are 100% people out there doing amazing things. I'm just trying to teach the way that it should be done in a educational lens, but also just for coming from a loving, kind, funny place as well, because
Yeah.
we're just so bloody hard on ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. And you just need put a little joke on it as well and make it funny.
Yes.
Just to get rid of that, that icebreaker,
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think that's when I went to a conference, because obviously you got to learn about business, because I literally went from teaching to business, and I was like, okay, I got to learn about this as well. And it was good to network, but we had this lady who talked about how we introduce ourselves. And, it's that 2 seconds in that moment that you either remember that person, whether it's their energy, you just remember that going, oh, wow, they got really good energy, just love being around them, or it's the words they use. So that's why I thought, you know what? Kinky Caitlin, let's go. It's going to open up an umbrella, and I can tell it's like a filter. I can go, you're either interested or you're not, and I can read their body language. I'm like, okay, what do you do? And I just change the whole topic if they're not, if they're not ready for it. I'm like, well, yeah, tell me a bit more about you, because you clearly are not ready for this. So
Yeah. Go back to you when people like talking about themselves, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
Well, it's really great that you also have that platform of your podcast to talk about all this stuff now as well. When did you start that? Has that been happening for a few years or?
Yeah, so I think it was actually this year that I think it was February. Don't quote me there, but I was like, you know what? I do love to talk, and I thought I might as well. I was like, how can I harness this? Because there's so much you can only do when it comes to social media. And unfortunately, what I talk about, there is a big risk of you know, getting restricted and all that type of thing. So I knew with podcasts that you just can say everything that you need to say, and no one's going to really hassle you down for it. So I
It's
thought,
less
cool.
filtered.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So I can really say what I need to say and give that lens to people, because yeah, I feel like when I've got those headphones on, I just go into a whole different world. And then sometimes my stories come out and I'm like, oh no, you just said that, Caitlin, on your podcast, like as a joke to me, going, oh my God, Caitlin, you just said that to the world. Okay, we're going there. No worries. That's fine.
Let's
So
go.
I just find it funny, because I'm like, okay, I'm all about being out there and being open and honest. But some stories you do like to kind of keep to yourself for a little bit of that's like a private Caitlin journal. But oh well, you get full no filter on my podcast. So, but I do love the way that it does encompass that. You're meant to put explicit on there when you're swearing. I'm like, oh well, I swear, whatever. I'm not putting that on there. People can just deal with it. We're in a world where actually we're saying it more. We're listening to music when people swear. I'm like, you know what? Look, I'm not going to tell my nieces to swear, but you know, it is what it is. You just got to
Yeah.
embrace it.
Exactly. And it's not like they're going on the podcast and like getting their real young babies to listen to it, It's people that have heard the swear words heaps of times.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And another really cool side as well, you decided to take your journey of, supporting people's mental health a little bit further by creating You Go Bro. Yeah, dedicated to supporting men's mental health and anxiety and building their confidence. We can't forget the men. Such an amazing idea. I love it. I wanted to know though, did you, especially as a woman, did you get any criticism or flack in the beginning for giving advice to men when you're a woman?
Oh, hell yes. I was flooded. As soon as I started doing it, I got this consistent, oh, here it is, another female, another feminist trying to tell men what to do. And at the beginning, because it was so abrupt straight away, I was like, oh my goodness, this is a lot to handle. And I'm actually coming from a good lens here. And I had beautiful men that supported me behind the scenes, because I put up on my story, I'm like, oh, this is nice to wake up in the morning. And the men were like, no, Caitlin, what you're doing is so needed and so supported. Like, we really actually want this. So I had a bit of a brotherhood behind the scenes that, supported me during that, to keep persisting and to keep canceling out the noise and just going, no, it's all good. And I think that actually helped make my skin a lot more thicker, because I was like, no, I know that there's a big concoction out there when it comes to how women are with men, and they're trying to, talk about men this, men that. And I completely understand that there are some valid points, but
Mm.
unfortunately, we're taking it a bit too far. and we are encouraging women to be in their masculine too much, which means men don't feel like that they can actually step up and be the man that they need to be. And they're then feeling deteriorated and emasculated by women that they can't actually be themselves. So their confidence is going really down. And I know that then men really suffer in silence when it comes to their mental health as well. So I really wanted to create and bridge the gap between a female and a male being able to converse and be able to talk about these things and be able to support them. And that was something I really felt passionate about, and I really wanted to help. And I brought men onto the scene as well, because I was like, I can't just be the only one that's like feeling this. So I had on Instagram, I did like Instagram lives where I had men just keep coming to me like, yeah, I'd love to jump on board. I'm like, cool. And just hearing their stories and hearing them being open, I just felt like, wow. And don't be wrong, there's moments I'm like, I've only got a small following. They're like, no, I'll do it for you, Katelin. I thought, wow, okay, cool. This is amazing. So it was really beautiful. And to be honest, being someone who isn't in a relationship at this current moment, I felt like I've been able to receive and see a different side to men that I just really love, that I'm creating this different relationship for men in my life and what I'm drawing in, what I'm attracting. But not only that, my relationship with my dad, with my pop, people in my life that are there and changing my way of communicating, changing my way about actually being more respectful and, understanding of their mental health has completely shifted. So as much as I go female empowerment and go woo with You Go Girlfriend, I also wanted to make sure that I was speaking to people in any lens and just having that respect of like, I'm here to bridge the gap. That's all I'm here to do, really, is to bridge this gap that people don't know how to.
Yeah, we're all humans, so we're all the same. We're just different genders,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. One's got a P and we've got a V, so
Exactly. One P standing up and we sit down.
Exactly.
So since you're all about, helping others and also, raising people's self-confidence and self-esteem, what is your personal opinion on social media as well? Because obviously we just spoke about how some people were really attacking you about that. And, I guess we're always going to have haters no matter what, right? Just got to focus on those fans. Did you find it hard, with all of the comparison on social media? Well, still is. And, people always uploading their best life, and I call it like people putting up their trailer compared to your blooper reel.
Yes.
You're like, that's not what my life actually looks like.
Oh, to be honest, it is a conversation that we probably will consistently keep having when it comes to this. And it really comes down to someone's journey when it comes to social media is how you want to present yourself in that moment. So I find that I know I've got my own personal page, but I don't even touch it from a bar. So sometimes I'm like, oh, I've been doing stuff, I need to post something, because I'm like, I'm still living, I'm still alive. But I put so much more of myself and who I am in the other pages, because I know that if I keep showing up as my authentic self, people will come across that. And that's exactly what you want, is you want people to know that you are you and what you're showing. Because I always used to say to myself, if I was dating someone and they only saw my page, am I actually showing up as me, or am I a completely different person? And I used to ask that person straight away. I was like, do you feel like that I'm different on social media to what I am now? They're like, no, you are you. And I was like, cool, that's exactly what I want to do.
That's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And when it comes to all the haters and stuff, and don't get me wrong, that first exposure, I was like, oh, it hit me. And I was like, damn. And then I used to look at it and I used to, get so wound up by it. And I used to go, oh my God. Like, then it would filter out the way that I do my next video, and it just would overwhelm me. But then I loved hearing from other people on social media that talked about this topic and said, if anything, those, you obviously got to, when people say ignore, I don't believe that you can ever fully ignore. But if you say, if they're talking, that means that it's actually really good. It means that
they were still looking at your stuff.
Yes, that's their issue that they are going with. That's their crap that they've got to deal with. That's why they're only reacting. And I keep saying, okay, that's your thing. That's got nothing to do with me. I'm content. I'm fine. I'm all good. But weirdly, for the algorithms, for the way that social media goes, is you actually want people to comment and you want them to, you know, just keep that conversation going. So unknowingly, the more hate, the more better that you are actually getting attraction and drawing in more people of interest, because it's like their people then see your, and it's like this whole landing on thing. So I've had to change my perception of what it is and not take it personally. But the ones that do either trigger me or do affect me, I delete it straight away, because I'm like, that clearly is not shifting. That's just sitting there for a reason for my own situation. So I find that it's important that we are obviously following people that are, and I did a massive cleanse from my own social media. I was like, right, I'm unfollowing all these people because they're just not providing, and I need to fill with business motivation, things that really spark up my curiosity, my creativity, things that actually are going to enhance me. Because so many people get caught up and they're like, oh, but they're my friend, or oh, they're my family. You know, you can mute them. You know, you can actually remove the notifications, and you don't have to unfollow them. You don't have to befriend them. You actually can reduce the amount that you're seeing to help work on yourself before maybe bringing it back into the scene when you're ready. But it's so fine to have control over social media. Don't let it control you. You really have the control.
Amen, sister. Yes. I love that. You are like such an incredible woman. I'm just soaking all this up today, and I hope to definitely still keep in contact after this. I feel like we just need you on again, just for like a whole nother episode of stuff. On a more personal note, like, I was amazed to hear that you have a black belt in karate. You go, girl, and you played AFL overseas. Like, were these some of like other sports maybe you thought of wanting to do as a career before all of this female and male empowerment as well?
I think
Just a
one
hobby.
thing, no, I love it. The one thing I did love was I was raised to always be active and to be, you know, putting myself in that fitness side of things. So I always love that. The thing I love about saying that I'm a black belt is, as a female, I know that I'm being a bit like straightforward here, but as a female, having that self-defense and being able to feel safe and know that you've got skills up your belt, literally, that can help you to, if there's a moment or a situation, to take action. And I felt like doing that as a young girl, I then was able to travel. I was able to do things where even if I was in situations that felt at unease, I knew how to get myself out of it. I've never had to use it, but I know that I had. Yes, exactly. I've had the capacity, the gut intuitions, the knowing when I'm not feeling safe because of what I've been conditioned of the self-defense. And if I was ever in a position, it's really important that for females that we do have a skill to be able to harness that strength. And I think that that definitely helped another element of confidence as well, to knowing that it's not about being muscular. Like, I now do Pilates and I've gone from like all different ways, but I know that if you just have that mental strength of knowing that you have the capacity to do things, because in the training we had, even like, you know, I say this nicely, but big guys, like adults, comparison to a little girl, and they would throw themselves at us to do the whole process to make sure that we are knowing the weight in the body to actually force someone off. And then once they're thrown on the ground, you have this like, wow, I'm powerful, I'm strong. Like, you know, they might have done little things to like help assist that, but they still put pressure on us. They still did the things that we need to do in our grading in order to get the belt, because they're like, if you cannot prove this, then we have to sort of help you out there in that sense and build that strength and that stamina. So for me, it was something that was really important when it came to the black belt. And then obviously with AFL, I was trying to find, because when you're moving overseas, you don't know anyone, so you have to create community. And I moved into a house with all boys, and I thought, this is hilarious. And they're like, Katelin, like, we have an AFL team, you should join. And I was like, oh, I'm pretty active and pretty, you know, physical, you know, why not? And I am so, so blessed because they became my family over there. So we, you know, did Christmas, we did holidays together, and just a big bunch of Aussies and Kiwis getting pissed. It was great. It was lovely. But the thing I did love about that, though, was, you know, being able to, it was another form of like anger release, because when you're really frustrated, you could just tackle girls and you can get it all out. And it was great. And I thought, there's something behind this. And that's why I now help women when it comes to anger releases in my events, is being able to, release all that anger that's sitting there and in a healthy way so that you feel more calm, so you can communicate effectively as well. So all these skills are, at the time I had no idea, but when I really thought about it, I was like, I needed that for a reason. So I'm glad that it did come a part of my journey.
And it's kept you fit and active, right?
We need our energy and our health. No matter what, the stories I keep hearing, as long as our baseline health is there, then we are doing really well.
Yeah, without your health, you have nothing, right? Yes.
Exactly.
Health is the true wealth, as they keep saying.
Yes, exactly.
Before we finish up today, do you have any advice for our audience who might want to kind of follow their dreams of, kind of following your footsteps a little bit, whether that is, podcast host or business owner or, even a public speaker or even a sexual empowerment coach? You do everything, girl.
I feel like for me, the one thing that really helps in any of the journeys was obviously being curious. If you really are curious about this change of what you want to do, is to keep asking questions, keep talking to people, keep really thinking about it more, because I know that there's so many times, I've said from the beginning, the universe brings you things and you need to jump on board, because I know that there'll be so many people out there that have had the universe provide them with an opportunity and they've just palmed it off because they've stayed in their tracks, they've stayed in their ways. You have to be a little uncomfortable to see and test it out. And I know that people go, oh, but finances, oh, but this. It's like, it all comes together when you push, when you get out of your comfort zone and you do those things for yourself. So I always find that the curiosity, the growth mindset of knowing that the way to moving forward is how you really want to live your life, rather than looking back and going, I wish I did that. Because so many people I keep hearing, they're like, I wish. Well, why not now?
Yeah.
What's holding you back? Why not now? Yeah, exactly. Take action. You are going to die and that money is not going to be there. Like, you cannot hold on to that money anymore. You need to do things that are going to take you to the step forward, and there's always a way around things. And I know that's easy said than done, and people are going to be like, oh yeah, Katelin. It's like, no. There are a way. You have to keep being curious to put yourself out there. And I think one of the things I did love was asking then people that are already in the industry about what it is, because it wasn't until I had a big meltdown, I was crying on my Instagram stories and I was like nothing's happening, I'm so confused. I had all these business people flood me with my inbox and they were like, Katelin, like, this is so normal. I know this sounds crap, but this is so part of the journey. I remember this time when I had struggled, I had to move here, I had to live with my parents, I had to focus on this. They're like, Katelin, this all happens for a reason. And just having that support, I was like, damn, okay, wow, I didn't know that. So we just don't want to feel like that we're alone. So just ask away, even if people don't reply, ask a different person, because someone will answer, I swear.
Plenty of people in the world to ask, right? Even Katelin.
Yes, exactly.
I love that. Well, I know that we've been already speaking for like 45 minutes, but I was wondering, before we finish up today, would you like to play a little game with me?
Yeah.
It only goes for like 2 minutes. I thought that might be a really fun way to finish off today, and also a great way for people to get to know you better, because it's a legendary game here on Rave It Up. It's called the 2-minute hot seat. And what I do is I ask you various questions. You just have to pick your preference. So it's like dogs or cats or singing or dancing, that sort of thing. And you have to answer as many questions in 2 minutes as possible, okay? It's timed. And at the end, we'll see where you sit on the leaderboard up against everyone else that's played the game on the show, which is 178 people. In terms of like Zoom interviews, the top of the leaderboard answers 63 questions.
Oh my goodness.
So
wow.
We're going to try and get you at least 63 or higher, okay?
Love that.
All right, let me get my little list here. Okay, I've just changed my view on my camera too so I can see us both. All right, you ready, Katelin?
I'm ready.
Yeah, you're ready? All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Instagram or YouTube?
Instagram.
Pop or country music?
Pop.
Cook or clean?
Cook.
Beach or pool?
Beach.
Comedy or action?
Comedy.
Blondes or brunettes?
Brunettes.
Sweet or salty?
Salty.
Book or e-reader?
Book.
Home cooking or dining out?
Dining out.
Bottomless bowl or bottomless drink?
Bottomless drink.
Singing or dancing?
Dancing.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Italian or Chinese food?
Italian.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Jennifer Lopez or Scarlett Johansson?
Will Scarlett.
Johnny Depp or Will Smith?
Will Smith.
Shop in-store or online?
Online.
Cinema or home movie?
Home movie.
Ice cream or gelato?
Gelato.
Cake or cookies?
Cookies.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Christmas or your birthday?
Christmas.
Night or day?
Night.
Bus or train?
Bus.
Talk to the dead or see the future?
See the future.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Eye color blue or brown?
Blue.
Driver or passenger?
Passenger.
Texting or calling?
Texting.
Sydney or Melbourne?
Melbourne.
Friday or Saturday?
Saturday.
TV or movies?
Movies.
Movies or books?
Books.
Fiction or non-fiction books?
Non-fiction.
Snow or surf?
Surf.
Freeze time or time travel?
Time travel.
Burger or pizza?
Pizza.
Tomato sauce or barbecue sauce?
Tomato.
Wine or beer?
Wine.
Leather or denim?
Denim.
City or country?
Country.
Biting your nails or picking your nose?
Picking your nose.
Pants or shorts?
Shorts.
Tattoos or piercings?
Tattoos.
Backpack or suitcase?
Suitcase.
Ice cream or chocolate?
Chocolate.
Pen or pencil?
Pen.
Mum or dad?
Dad.
Headphones or speakers?
Speakers.
Beach vacation or city vacation?
City vacation.
Photo or video?
Video.
Apple or orange?
Orange.
Fruit or veggies?
Veggies.
Chocolate or strawberry?
Strawberries.
Chocolate, dark milk or white?
Dark.
Superman or Batman?
Batman.
Ah, we're out of time! Woo! Jeez, you're killing it, girl. You like that biting your nails or picking your nose question?
To be honest, there was some I'm like, I think that was like a funny answer. I was like, I did not expect that. There we go. I was like, I know how much I love the beach, and then I would say country. I'm like, wait, what? No. And like, because I've been asked to, oh, would you go find once a wife? I'm like, no. So I'm just
It's always funny with that biting your nails or picking your nose question. Everyone goes, oh my God, like, I can't believe you asked that. And I'm like, oh, it makes you laugh. And everyone's like, biting your nails. And I'm like, yeah, like you wouldn't like picking your nose. Come on,
Yeah,
everybody.
I literally was like picking my nose. I'm like,
I felt like you would totally enhance that. You'd be like, yeah, picking your nose. How many questions do you think you answered in that time?
Oh, I reckon it was about 40 something.
Oh, I'm happy to say more. Do you think you got about 63?
Wow, but maybe?
You're kind of close. You answered 56 questions
Oh,
in
man.
that time. So you were sitting, you're sitting number 5 out of the Zoom Rave It Up leaderboard. I love that. That's awesome. Good job, girl. Woo!
I definitely knew. I was like, as soon as I laughed, I'm like, that's already a question that's gone.
You're like, oh, don't laugh.
But I can't stop laughing. That's just me.
Well, we are unfortunately getting to the end of the interview now, Katelin, but as a closing statement, it was probably the most important question here on Rave It Up, a little bit more serious now. Knowing what you know now, what would you tell your 14-year-old self?
Yeah, I do love this question because it's something that we really need to have the conversation with. But I think one of the things that I would say to her is really just back yourself in who you are and know that you are so loved.
Oh, that's actually very similar to what I would say to mine. The emotional Katelin. Oh, I love that. And I'm sure it's a lot of the advice you give to people in schools and stuff, to all the teenagers. Hey.
Yeah, I do have the motto of like, accept yourself before you learn to love yourself. I think it's so important that people just take on that to know that you can't love yourself until you really accept who you are.
I love that. That's a great quote. I'm going to have to write that down. I love putting quotes all over my office, so that might be one I'll have to add. And before we go today, Katelin, if our audience want to contact you or find out what you're up to, check out some of those really fun posts, where should we go follow you?
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're ready for a bit of entertainment, then definitely go to You Go Girlfriend. It's all platforms, all social media, and then You Go Bro, same as that as well. And obviously you've got the website, which is all under the funnel of yougogirlfriend.com.au.
Love it. Nice and easy. Just type in You Go Girlfriend onto Google. I hope that you'd come up.
Yes, it's on Google as well.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Katelin. I was just soaking up all that. I was just like, just keep going. It's all good. Talk for an hour. I love it. Please come on the show anytime in the future, okay? You can consider it your second home, your other second podcast home.
No, absolutely. I really appreciate this time and just love your energy as well. It's so infectious.
Oh, ditto. I love your energy too. So please keep in contact and Merry Christmas.
Yes, ho, ho, ho.
Woo! Happy New Year as well, because I'm sure we will chat in the new year.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Well, I hope you'll enjoy today's interview. If you would like to live a life that you can rave about, just like Katelin, please visit our website, raveituptv.com. All of our books and courses and interviews are up there for you to enjoy. And make sure to please share it with your friends. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!